So here's the reality, right? The reality is this. You want to figure out a way to close more deals while spending less time, energy, and effort in doing so. The only way to do that is to maximize the resources that you have access to. You want to know what the ultimate resource that you have access to in commercial finance is? That is Rock Financial. That is the relationship that you already have with Rock. So what we're going to do today is we are going to go into every way, shape, or form that you could be closing more business from the business that you're already doing. So think about it this way, right? Think about it in a way where you can offer one single style of lending. And we use the bank example because when most people think of lending, they think of going to their local or small bank or credit union that they have a relationship with, as they should. Right? The best cost of capital is going to be at your bank. But the reality is when it comes to traditional lending for small, medium-sized businesses, the box has never been tighter, the requirements have never been higher, the qualifications have never been more difficult to reach, because the reality is this. There are businesses that have taken a major advantage of things and are in a position where they're winning a ton of business. They're making hundreds of millions to billions of dollars a year. And that's who the banks want to service, if I'm being honest, right? They don't necessarily, they're not designed to help every person out there. What they're designed to do is help the small percentage of the population that they can actually assist. If you're talking about a singular approach, I don't know, anybody in the chat here familiar with the government shutdown that's going on right now? Any of you guys familiar with that in the chat? Let me know if you're familiar with the government shutdown that's going on right now and what that actually means in small business lending. Kim says, indeed, I love it. I love it. I'm going to go into it a little bit for you guys, but the reality is this. I see some names that didn't get a chance to throw in who they are, where they're calling in from. Shout out to all you guys that are on the call today. But the reality is this: when the government decided to shut down a couple of weeks ago, now at this point, one of the big factors or big sectors of the government that's been majorly affected is the SBA. Right? The SBA is a government-backed body that helps lending to small and medium-sized businesses, right? So what's happened here is they've paused all SBA lending. So yes, you can apply. Your SBA banker at your local bank is still employed at the moment, but the reality is you cannot get SBA funds at this very moment, and we don't know when that's going to end. I mean, I was around in the last time that we had a government shutdown, and it was 38 days. Go ask a business owner how much their business can change in 38 days. I promise you, it's night and day, right? That timeline is way too long. And we have no end in sight. We don't know when that end is gonna happen, right? So right now, like I said, we have this government shutdown going on, and that means that you can't get an SBA loan. But one thing you can do is work the multi-solution options that we have at Rock Financial, where if you are a business owner and you connect with Rock, you get access to a variety of different products that some would say do the same thing. Right? You can buy a piece of equipment with a line of credit. You can buy a piece of equipment with accounts receivable. You can buy a piece of equipment with an asset-based loan or an SBA loan. You can buy a piece of equipment with equipment financing, working capital, and term loans. In fact, the only thing that you can't really buy equipment with is commercial real estate loans. And even in a sense, you probably could do it there, because if you bought a restaurant where there were things that were bolted down, right, you technically are going to buy equipment when you buy that commercial real estate as well. So here's the reality. There's more than one way to go about this. So we are here to help more businesses gain access to more types of funding, and doing that through you guys. So the very basic thing that you need to understand is, hey, if we have multiple targets that we're aiming at, we got a much better shot of hitting the bullseye, right? And that's the reality, is the more options that you have, the easier of a process it's going to be. Right? So every deal is going to go through our entire funding process from start to back, from start to finish, from front to back, right? Taking that in one, one quick sentence, right? But no, from start to finish, you guys are going to have full transparency to track the progress, to connect with advisors, to really leverage Rock Financial's tech, marketing, and sales processes to be an extension of what you do, and ultimately how you do it. And the better you get at leveraging it and understanding it, the more you're going to take advantage of it. The overall consensus should be this: we help small businesses gain access to funding, regardless of what they're using the money for, regardless of how long they've been in business, or where they're located, or what their industry is, right? All of these things that could come up that could potentially cause issues for others in lending. Rock has a system set up where you can take advantage of funding those customers, right? So when you have access to this type of resource, it's important that you customize your own process. You customize your own partnership, because in doing so, you'll really get the most out of the resources that are being provided to you, right? The more you understand about the pre-underwriting stage, or the underwriting stage, or the approved stage, or final underwrite, or even the funded stage, right? What can you do, or how can you help maximize the conversions from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, and ultimately all the way to funding, right? The next step, right? So here we have it. I'm gonna recap before we jump into this slide here. The first thing is offering multiple solutions. The second thing is being able to leverage the process that's already been built for you. The third thing is overqualified is qualified. I remember the first time I don't know if you guys know this, but prior to Rock Financial, I was working as an assistant college football coach for a D3 college football team, and my whole life was about, recruiting, coaching, being a part of that organization, right? And one of the things that I remember hearing, a long time ago was when Tom Coughlin was the head coach of the Giants. He used to tell the New York Giants that early is on time and on time is late, right? Well, I can tell you that this is an extension of that. Right? If you show up just barely meeting qualified, you aren't really qualified. If you are overqualified, though, you are qualified. Right? Hear me loud and clear, because a lot of people, they want to worry about what's the minimum qualification for this, or what's the minimum qualification for that, whether it's credit score, time in business, revenue, all these different categories that come up, right? The reality is this, it's a mixture of all of those things, and if you can show that each one is a continuous building block of strength for you and your business, well then overqualified is qualified. Right? So hear me loud and clear. You can be one of these, partners or consultants for the businesses in your network. And in doing so, some of the things that you can help them overcome are the most common or the most overlooked deal killers that we might see. Things like incomplete documentation or missing pages. I can't tell you how many times, back and forth, this field needs to say this, that field needs to say that, and boom, you wait a few days and all of a sudden you're not as qualified as you once were, right? The second is unclear expectations. If you don't actually know, here's a tip for you. If you don't actually know, it's okay to tell a business owner that, right? Meaning that you probably shouldn't tell them rates, terms, how much money they're going to qualify for if you don't actually know. And if you don't know, call Rock. We'll give you the answers to those questions. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you provide a more clear expectation. We're here to help you understand what options might be available and really give you the knowledge and power to go back into your network and maximize this opportunity. But we don't want you to as the kids say, fumble the bag before you even get it, right? The reality is this: if you have an opportunity, you want to know that everything you've done is exactly what needs to be done, right? Well, we take the guessing game out of that, and we help you overqualify your customers so that they can take the most advantage of the opportunity you're giving them, which is the multiple solutions, which is a stellar sales process, right? Where they know, hey, I'm qualified, I know where I'm going, what I'm doing, when I got to be there, how I got to be there, and how to execute, right? When you're somebody that you you're looking at like how much money you can make with this opportunity. Just think about it. If you're somebody that you're only closing, 10% of deals, right? And the average commission ends up being $2,800 to you. If you're just able to tick that up a few percent, our top closing partners are closing 70, 80, 90% of the transactions that they work on. But even if you're just able to create a small difference there, that rate that you're making, it just multiplies itself, right? So, this is a compounding factor, right? This is not a scenario where we're talking about, not having any transactions to work on. No, what we're talking about is working the transactions that we do have to a maximum capacity where we can make the most change, but also make the most change, right? Like that's realistically what it comes down to, especially if you're somebody that is in this looking to make money. This is high ticket closing. You can do so, right? So, I know that might seem like a lot, right? Let me recap before we go into Rock directly. Let me recap some of those things for you, right? Number one is you got to have that overqualified mindset, right? I know we saved that slide for last, but you got to have a mindset of overqualified is qualified. You got to leverage the process, and you should definitely offer multiple solutions because you never know what a business owner might need, when they might need it, or when it might not be available. Take a look at the SBA for an example of what it might mean for those deals to not be available today. Right, so here's some things that are new at Rock, right? We have some brand new features within the portal. Some of you might be so new that these things are even starting to outdate you guys, but I don't think we've had some direct, conversation on any of these recent webinars about exactly what you see on the screen here, and that is two of the best features that I think we've rolled out for the portal in a long time. Number one is the deal qualifier. Shout out to, I believe it was Amy is her name. She's already funded a deal through the deal qualifier. All you have to do is literally enter your customer's information. It will tell you what they qualify for and how to qualify for it. And then you can actually submit that customer information, meaning their contact info, so that we can get that deal rocking and rolling for you. Like I said, first deal's already been funded, so you can't be the first, but you can certainly be next. Remember that. That's the most important thing, right? And then the second feature that we recently rolled out is what we refer to as the product quick guide. But this is so much more than just a product quick guide. I would call it rock in a box, meaning if you need to know what you need to know, it's there for you to know it. It's the ultimate go-to resource for everything affiliate related for Rock Financial, from product information to core borrower information, what industries are hottest, how we're taking advantage of those things. So make sure you have access to the portal, make sure you have access to the deal qualifier, to the product quick guide, because like I said, these are two of the best features to roll out for the portal in a long time. And I know that there's partners and affiliates already taking advantage of and making money from these resources that are being provided. So if you guys need, feel free to email me, tony@rock.biz. Feel free to reach out to me. Follow me on social media. Follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, shoot, you name it, and I will connect with you and we can go through these things if you need to. But find me, send me a smoke signal, whatever you need. I'll jump on with you. We can go through these things, individually. But I suggest you get a chance to click around under the resources tab within the portal and take a look at these brand new resources that have been built for you guys. Some quick statistics about Rock, right? We typically are looking for at least 3+ months time in business, generating at least $10,000 per month into a business checking account for revenue into a business checking account, excuse me. The reality is this: we help pretty much existing businesses, right? We lend as little as $10,000 all the way up to $10 million. There is a definite way that we can help the small businesses within your network if you're working with them. I know you see some popular states and popular industries here. This is just some recent info. I can tell you that manufacturing has been a huge industry for us recently. I can tell you that retail and e-commerce have been a huge industry for us recently. So there's industries, there's states, there's regions that are different than what you see on the screen here. This is just to give you a baseline to understand that the businesses that are in your backyard, and even realistically actually in your backyard, are already rocking out. So why aren't you? No, I'm just kidding. I know that you guys are rocking out. So I want to make sure that you have a good idea of who we help and how we help them, right? That's the most important feature, right? Is how we're going to be able to help you, right? So that's going to come down to you. You know, I have I had somebody I was talking to the other day, and they were like, "Hey, Tony, you know, like, you know, what do the successful partners do?" And I'm like, to be honest, they do whatever they want, and what they mean is, hey, you know, they're like, well, what do you mean, you know? And I'm like, well, they do what they think is going to make their rock relationship most successful. And I'm going to say that again. They do what they think is going to make their relationship with rock most successful. And they're like, well, tell me about that. And I said, well, my favorite question to ask partners who want to be successful at this is, take a look in your crystal ball. You know, tell me what 6 months from now looks like as a successful partner, right? It might be monetarily. Hey, I want to be making more than 10 grand a month or more than 25 grand a month with you guys. You know, nobody likes to hear that more than I do, I promise. Payments do go out today, just in case you were wondering. So payments go out today. You guys are getting paid tomorrow for all the deals that funded last week. There's over $75,000 in payments going out today. So shout out to our partners that will be getting paid. But the reality is this. It doesn't matter big, little, one deal a month or a year or 500 deals a month or a year. It's all about the reality of what you think success is, right? So that's why I want to aim small, miss small with that. You tell us what success is, and we'll go out and deliver on that, right? That's the best way that I can have you looking at your partnership with Rock. I do see some questions dropping into the chat, and I'm already missing them. So if you guys can, throw those questions into the Q&A so that I can make sure that I answer those at the end. I don't want to miss your questions because other people start chatting, or I ask you guys, you know, who's coming to the Rock event tomorrow, or you know, we start getting some lively in the chat here. I want to make sure that I'm getting your questions answered. The next step is I want you guys to understand the products, right? I can't do that in a webinar that is about another topic, if I'm being honest. The products, I mean, shoot, marketing. How many webinars do we do about the products? Most of them are about the products. They're shaking their head in case you guys are wondering, right? They're mostly about the products, right? We do one-off webinars about the products. So you can go on our YouTube or on our website, and you can find out way more than I'm going to be able to tell you in the next, you know, minute or two as we have this slide on your screen. But the most important thing that I want you to understand is that this mix of products that we offer is what's available to small business owners today and allows us to maximize our potential for small and medium-sized business owners, right? So whether you have receivables or assets within the business, or you're trying to purchase assets, or you're just looking for some additional cash on hand to be able to take advantage of opportunity or solve challenges within the business, we have the funding available for you, right? And that's the ultimate reality is, hey, no matter why they're borrowing the money or what way that they want to kind of set that up, if I partner with Rock, I have access to do that in every way, shape, or form available today. Now, here's the reality. If you're somebody that does commercial real estate lending, right? I don't know that you should be doing your commercial real estate lending through Rock, but I definitely know that you should be doing lines of credit through Rock. And that's the reality, right? Is you might have some solutions. You might have some relationships. My goal is to not replace those things. It's to enhance what you're already doing, right? So these products, that's what they're there for. They're to enhance the offering that you're able to give to the small and medium-sized businesses within your network, right? So here's why Rock is not only the smartest affiliate platform, but you can take that word smartest and replace it with every est that you can think of, from best to number one to all of the adjectives that you want to kind of throw in there. It's really the pillars that you see within the slide here, from our lender network to the human support to the transparency and tracking, to the fact that we'll work with really anybody, not just brokers, not just lenders. We'll really work with anybody. The number one thing that I want you guys to have a good understanding of walking out of, well, not necessarily walking out of, I guess we could say logging off of today's call, is that we're not one size fits all. Right? In fact, we're very moldable to be what your partnership needs, because we're the number one partnership platform that's out there for affiliates in commercial finance. Because we're the number one and have been forever, we know what you need, when you need it, and how to really serve it up for you to make the most sense. Right? So whether you need training, you need support, you need marketing, sales, tech, you name it, we're here to help you. We're here to take things to the next level together. That's the most important part, right? So you want to know why affiliates are choosing Rock. Here's a couple of reasons, right, that we see over and over again in the reviews, in the experience that's provided to our affiliates. That's really the ultimate test, if I'm being honest, is, hey, what does that look like for us, and how do we maximize that potential, right? You do so by providing a stellar experience and figuring the rest out later, if I'm being honest. Quick overview of one of our more recent line of credit deals that we were able to get done in just a couple of days. It'll help allow this construction company to take on new projects, to handle the unexpected expenses that come up in doing so. If you've been in or around the construction industry, you know that sometimes you're getting paid and sometimes you're waiting to get paid, right? The reality is this: when you have a line of credit, you don't have to wait, right? You can complete the work, go pull on your line of credit, and when you do get paid, you pay it back. Right? That's the reality of a line of credit. So, flexibility in the funding is the reality of what a lot of these business owners are looking for today. And if you're looking for that type of funding for your small business customers, you're in the right place. Again, don't take my word for it, if I'm being honest. Jump online, go do your own research, take a look at exactly how we've helped others in the past by taking a look at our reviews. Go look at Chase's while you're at it, or Wells Fargo's, because they're not even close. Right? If you're not yet an affiliate, feel free to scan this QR code on your screen here and become one today. Would love to have you and get you logged in or locked in, and rocking, as we like to say. But love to have you and get you as a part of our affiliate platform today. If you're just looking for some more generic information, jump over to our website. You can email us. You can call us. Call us today. The team is waiting to interact with you. Would love to get a chance to chat and really customize or have a more direct conversation about you guys.